right? So our parents' generation, they have their system of how they were brought up. And I always tell young people that you can't really blame our parents, right? They've loved us and they've done what they can do in the capacity that they have, right? There's an upbringing that they had, right? And for us, we are a different kind of generation. There's technology, there's innovation, there's just different things that has also made us to be different. Right. But I've realized that a lot of people, a lot of young people, especially that I know, are really hurt. Right. Maybe they feel like their parents were not there, or they always would tell them keep quiet, do this and do that, and that's how parents they were brought up to just obey commands. They were not brought up to question things. But we are a generation that we question things. We want to know why things are done the way it is. We want to understand. We can't just do things, right? And because we look like a defiant generation, because we're talking when they are talking. We're questioning, we're asking, right? We're not just accepting. So, and I've come to say that it's just a misunderstanding, right? It's a misunderstanding, and and all of that. So from everything that I have said, sir, I would like you to start, just for you to really just, because I know that you're a father, and engaging with you, I feel like you're not, you have a different mindset. There's just a difference about you. I think that there are things that you understand, there are ways that you understand it, and even listening to your daughter's story, which was really inspiring. And I could see that it's because she just really has parents who chose to say, you know what, I'm going to have to understand this generation. I'm going to have to understand, what they are made of. So I just want you to, from everything that I've said, to just really give your opinion, what you think, why you think there are differences, there are issues, and yes.
Thank you very much, Temi. Actually, we could almost end the session with the intro you've done, because you've basically covered it all. Now, one thing everyone listening to needs to understand is we, my generation, and what you call the baby boomers. My parents were called builders. Who will be your grandfathers? You are about age of my children, meaning millennials, 27 to age 42 at the moment. So the reality is the times we live in, there are currently actually 5 generations. In the past, people don't live as long as they do now, and people don't have children as quickly as they do now. So the reality is the way your generation feels about us, we felt exactly the same way about our parents. Your own children, when you begin to have them, will also feel the same way about you. So it's important we first recognize, anyone online, just confirm that you can hear us clearly, because I'm seeing circles just to be sure we're not having network issues. You could drop comments in the chat box that you can hear clearly, please. Right. So first thing we all need to accept is there's really nothing wrong with you or your parents or your children. The reality is just the difference in upbringing and environment. And I'll make some quick distinctions, some of which you have touched. My parents is a generation before mine. That is people born between 1929 to 1945. That's anyone that is 78 years and above now. That's a generation before mine. They were just grateful to have a job, to be alive. Because life was tough then. That was just about the World War. So they were just happy to be alive. No ambition, no desires as it is. And of course, technology wasn't the way it is. They were just happy to have a job. They were just that comfortable to have a job. So they were brought up being cautious and respectful of authority. No trouble. They tell them sit down, they sit down. If they insult them at work, they say, thank you, sir. As it is. It is their worldview. Now, they then had us, my generation, people born between 1964 Yeah, 1946 and 1964. That is anyone currently 59 years old this year to 77. That's my generation. I'll be 59 this year. We were their children. So we saw them and we saw their life. And they sent us to schools. Most of our parents didn't go to schools. And if they even did, maybe just standard 6. But they invested in educating my generation. So we grew up to believe that we desire more than our parents had. So we're more confident and more adventurous. And we believe we should replace them because they don't know what to do. So we were quite ambitious and aggressive. Then we had children below us, anybody currently about 43 to 58 years old. This is the beginning of being you, where people began to rebel and say, this is who I am, and I have a right to be who I am, regardless of my family, my environment, and what society thinks. And they have little regard for authority. Then comes the 4th generation, which is your generation. Anyone listening that is 27 years old to 42. That's what is called the millennials. The millennials' worldview is like life is a cafeteria. They pick and choose. So that's the generation that, my generation, for example, if we want to listen to music, we buy the whole album. Your generation pick one song from David O, pick another song. So you just pick and choose. And that's where you attach your life. We wore the same cloth, same color. Your generation began to combine and contrast. So those are conflicts that differ per generation. And your generation believe that you choose your leaders. So nobody tells you, because that's an uncle, that's your father, that's a teacher, you choose who to respect based on your evaluation of these people. And that's because of the exposure you have had. You are the era of internet and all of that. But why I said your children, because there's already a generation that is growing up after you, right? Those are people that are 11 years old to 26. They are also cautious, but they're growing up in the era of the chat GPT and all kinds of information. So they don't even believe they need leaders. They don't believe they need you, because anything they need to find out, they just put it on their phone and the information is there. In my time, you need to go and ask an older person. In your generation, Google had come, so you don't believe you need us to ask us anything. And unfortunately, because you are more, your generation, millennials, are generally more circumspect and believe in self. They have watched us fail severally with their parents. Whether it's in religion, they see pastor that is not behaving like a pastor. They see political leaders who are stealing and all of that. So they are not interested in the values we held strongly. You find out your generation, the attitude to religion is just leave me alone. All this Sunday school matter. If this is what you become, yes. You people that went through all of that, then why are you telling me to go to church?
Yes.
So those are the differences. There are solutions to work around all of this, but I'll give you a direct to take it maybe when we get to solutions. And the things that have made me, though I'm in that generation, I'm able to try to reach beyond my generation, which is what you may have seen to have invited me to a program like this. I will share all of that as we proceed.
Thank you very much, sir, for the breakdown. I really, really love it.